Brighton have taken points off Manchester City in two of their last three matches when hosting the Premier League champions over at the Amex. So can they make it 3 from 4 here on Thursday? One of those matchups was last season's 1-1 meeting at this same venue, which saw Brighton actually outshoot Manchester City in that game, along with having a far greater offensive XG rating as well. So, can the Seagulls keep that offensive presence up ahead of this one and potentially make a game of it here? Upset the apple cart in terms of the Premier League title race against City in midweek. From the outset, that does look unlikely, to be quite honest. Brighton are a team that has continued to trend downward as the season has worn on, especially offensively. We go back to the start of the season for Brighton and, they were one of the most dynamic, one of the best offensive teams in the whole of Europe. Number one in the Premier League in terms of goals scored per game coming into the start of October. Number two in offensive XG as well. We move forward to the end of November, though. That starts to drop to top 4 in terms of the number of goals scored, top 10 offensive XG. And to close out the calendar year 2023, Brighton was still in a reasonably good spot overall. Top 5 in goals scored and 9th in offensive XG. But since the start of 2024, Brighton's offensive numbers, especially at home, have simply dropped off the map. Just 6 goals scored at the Amex since January 1st. No team has scored fewer goals inside their own home stadium in the Premier League than Brighton have across this calendar year so far. The Seagulls also ranked dead last in the league in terms of offensive XG at home across that same time span as well. So, on the surface, you would look at the table, you would see, Brighton do have a solid home record overall this season. They rank top half in the table in terms of home form. They've lost just 2 games inside the Amex all season as well. Only 2 other teams have managed to better that record. And Brighton will be hosting one of them in this game. But, that really doesn't tell the full picture here. Let's look at who Brighton have actually played at home across 2024. Even with those poor numbers, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Crystal Palace, Wolves, all teams with an average ranking on the table just 15th when you combine them together. And they were extremely lucky to even get draws in some of those games as well. Wolves had them on the ropes for large stretches in their game, put up a higher XG than Brighton in that game. The Seagulls were extremely fortunate to pull out a draw against a struggling Everton side as well. Lewis Dunk's 95th minute equaliser saving their blushes in that one. And we just saw them get routed 3-0 by Arsenal in this same venue 2 weeks ago as well in their previous game at home. So for me, while on paper Brighton do look like a respectable home team on the season as a whole, across the last few months, it's been anything but. This has been a Jekyll and Hyde team from 2023 through to 2024. And I'm not expecting things to change much here when they host a motivated Manchester City side in midweek, looking to claim their 6th title in 7 seasons. So City for me on the -1 Asian handicap line here is going off at -160. I just struggle to see how Brighton can get anything from this game given their recent tepid performances at home to close out the year. So, City for me, -1, best bet for Thursday. Don't forget to check out some of Wager Talk's great deals going on right now over on site. And until next time, Slán Bhfuil and best of luck on all your bets.